Hello, everybody. Welcome to another show. I'm your host, Juliana, and today we're working things with Wake Coffee Co. as 2/3 of U.S. adults now reach for coffee every single day. And specialty SIMs have jumped 18% since 2020. We'll explore how the Mount Holly coffee turned co-working heaven in writing a specialty market projected to swell by 57 billion in just the next 3 years. So grab your mug, settle in, and let's light up Charlotte.
Welcome to Light Up Charlotte, a space for stories that matter, businesses that inspire, and a community that shines together.
Hello, everybody. We are here with Amber, the owner of Way Coffee, and I'm pretty excited because she's actually one of our winners from Light Up Charlotte, our first season. So she's one of the OGs. That's how I say it, right?
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about, guess what? Coffee. Yes. So, Amber, first of all, thank you for being here with us today. And just want you to start telling us about your journey. That's what I want to start asking my Light Up Charlotte people, like a little bit more about you.
Mm-hmm.
Who was Amber before starting Way Coffee? And yes,
Yeah,
tell
thanks
us
for
about
having me.
Yeah.
So, I'm Amber. I kind of a unicorn because I was born and raised here. And then first and foremost, I'm a mom. I've had different career paths before coffee. I'm a little self-conscious about saying coffee now because I just went out west to visit my brother and sister, and they lost their Southern accent. And they're like, "You're saying it weird." And I'm like, "How am I saying it?" And they're like, "Coffee." And I'm like, "Coffee?" Anyways, so if I say it strangely, it's because I'm uptight. Anyway, before coffee, I was in corporate healthcare and love helping people. But I just knew that wasn't my forever, I was also a single mom, so hustling. I would leave my day job, go bartend, and do what I had to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then along the way, I found myself having a volunteer opportunity. It was a nonprofit, and I've always loved coffee, and you could volunteer. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that because I'm so intimidated when I go into these shops and you look at the menu and you're like, oh my gosh, what is that? So I started to volunteer for 7 years and gained all this knowledge, fell in love with it even more. And then that led to that nonprofit asking me or offering me a job to see their operations for 3 other of their nonprofits. So that was exciting. Learned all the skills, learned the business aspect. And I just really, really love it. And that's my history. So I have all this experience from volunteering. Yeah.
I love that. So what about when you were little or growing up, or your parents, did they like coffee? Yeah. I want people to get to know also about your culture too, because I know you are half
Asian.
Half Asian.
I get Hispanic a lot, especially when I had dark hair. If I had $1 for every time, I would be rich. So I don't remember specifically like my parents loving coffee.
Okay.
I remember seeing my dad drink it for sure, and black, and then later along the years, cream and sugar. But I didn't love it then. But I'm a daughter of an immigrant. My dad is from China. They have a really cool story. He came to America and met my mom, and he was like the stereotypical chef, and my mom was the waitress. Oh. And that's how they met. So that was really cool. And then he was working for a restaurant for someone else. And then later on, they started to have their own. So I've always been around entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Didn't you ever thought about opening a restaurant?
No. As a child, I hated it because
really,
after school, we were there. And then my dad was always there morning up, sundown, and then also the real factor of like going home and smelling like food. Oh, we hated it. But now as an adult, the best memories being together, being with my siblings. I remember my sister and I would put on roller skates, and we would be the cashiers and take your order. And then we would skate back and give my dad the order. It was a lot of fun, but I saw the hard work. Yes. The grit, and it wasn't easy. I saw the ugly parts. Right. And, my parents, just evolved, and they owned a few restaurants. They're mostly retired now. But it was definitely an experience. And the one thing that really stood out is I remember my dad and my mom coming out and talking to customers while they were eating and things. And I love that part. And some of those customers became our friends. And it was a different type of magic for me.
And I love that you say that because, when I was talking at my Light Up Charlotte event and I was explaining about how my parents having their businesses, even though they never told me that I should be an entrepreneur, but just by me seeing what they were doing, how they were treating their customers, or even me hearing a meeting, because when you have kids, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
That kind of, it's in the back of your brain, I will say. And I'm pretty sure for you, being on that environment, even though it's not a restaurant and you own a coffee shop, it probably gets like a bigger connection because you have seen your parents doing a service and providing, like, talking to customers, and that's pretty much what you do right now. So I love to hear that. So what was the name? What was the name
of my parents' restaurants?
No. Of your how did you end up with naming your coffee shop like Wake Coffee? Why? Is there a story behind?
The obvious, like wake up for sure. But I think during that time when we started this building, we took the building during the pandemic, which we'll probably talk about that, weird times for sure. But I think it was like a spiritual awakening too. Just, I think we played on that. Also, the obvious wake up. But we are in the Mountain Island Lake area. We live there. So we're like wakes in the lake, lots of different things. But honestly, I think it's spiritual awakening and something that would encourage us. And I would say, I'm drawing a blank, but I would say something that, it's just lively. And it was just super, not simple. We did struggle with it for a little bit, but we were like, is this too cheesy? And we're like, no, I like it because it can mean a lot of different things for people.
I love that. What is your favorite coffee?
So I'm thinking about my staff, and they all know what I like when I come in, and they'll ask me, do you want your usual? So right now it currently is probably a cortado. Cortado is similar to a latte, just less milk. But for me, it's almond. I can't do dairy anymore, dude. My stomach. Anyway, so almond milk, 2 shots of espresso, and 1 pump of caramel sauce. Not the syrup, the sauce. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. I like it in a short form. I don't want to like drink on 8, 12 ounces. I like it more like 4 ounces. More like a shot,
I love it. So I know before we even got live with the podcast, we were talking about how big this coffee industry it's getting. And I feel you really got into this business at the right time, at the right moment. Yeah. But I even think coffee, keeps growing and growing every year. And I think I got some actual facts about how...
Is this a pop quiz?
No, I promise you're not gonna fail. It's just something that I wanted to, I like facts. So a specialty coffees market hit 47 billion. That's a lot of money in 2024, and it's projected to grow at a 9.5% CAGR through 2030. So it's not anything that I feel coffee it's
you're
not going anywhere.
You're right. You're probably surprised by the numbers, but really, if you go back to the coffee history, it's such a huge social aspect. I'm talking about many, many, many years ago. I need to do my homework too, but started in Ethiopia and some of these Middle Eastern countries, and the social aspect around coffee was such a big deal. And it's funny because if you go back to history, coffee was actually an evil thing, and then it became socially acceptable. But the conversation surrounded around coffee and how it brings us together, yeah, it is fascinating. I do believe that there's room for everybody. I think it's important to like obviously to have the relationships with your roasters and things like that. But the coffee scene, yeah, there's all kinds of things happening. I mean, like day raves, coffee shops. I mean, so many funny things. But the one thing that's true is it does bring people together.
I know. I remember I was texting you about these crazy like parties that their people are doing
DJ,
at coffee.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? Is this like the new way of doing a party? They're not nighttime. It's just like having fun and drinking coffee during the day.
Yeah,
like wow.
It's almost like no alcohol is just get jacked up on caffeine.
Yes.
I've seen it out west a lot. I do think there's been maybe one or two happenings in Charlotte. That hasn't been us, not opposed to it. But with us, we're more than coffee. We do the cocktails, charcuterie, we do events. You can have, a private party with our company, and we have DJs come in from time to time. We've just never featured one through the day, so it's a constant rave.
Yeah.
But because we have co-working, maybe some of the people who are trying to get the work done wouldn't enjoy that, but maybe on a specific day, I think it would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you should do it.
Yeah.
Like one day, no, there is no space for co-working or anything.
Yeah.
We're just going to party over here with coffee.
Maybe it'd be like a Thursday or Friday.
Yes.
Like
that would be fun.
I think it would be too.
Okay. So where do you get your coffee from?
Great question. So a little fun fact about us is our cousins by marriage are our roasters. They're not local, but we adore them. They have amazing history. They started in 1960, really, I think, ramped up in 1970s, and have just been amazing. And with their partnerships with local roasters, the farmers, I'm sorry, not roasters, but local farmers.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was like, is that okay?
No, we're just hearing like
the rumble,
a big truck noise, so don't worry about it.
Okay. So yeah, they've done an amazing job having their relationships with the farmers and making sure it's ethically sourced, but also making sure it's not like transactional. They actually have the relationships. We love that. And they're amazing. The founder, Baku Shaw, actually passed away last year, but he did an amazing job creating this legacy. So his sons are still carrying that out. And then we also love our local roasters, Oak and Bond, Brian and Laura and Charlotte. Adore them as well. And the same, they are really incredible. So if you're on Insta, look them up because they're great. Their product is great as well.
Oh, okay. That's good to know for the people that are into this business. Yeah. So how long you been in business now?
Since 2020, but we didn't launch until like the brick and mortar until 2022. We took the building, I'll never forget, in July, I think 21st, 2021. Very specific. You remember these things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So 2021.
So like 5 years, kind of. Okay. What will be your advice for someone who would like to start their own business, or they're thinking about starting a coffee shop or anything related to coffee? Because, I just read this is just keeps going and going. So what will be your advice or your suggestion? Because I feel there is, just like any other business, there is a place for everybody. Yeah. But sometimes people are feeling a little bit lost on how to start, and just coming from someone who has done it.
I would say my advice, specifically probably to anybody dreaming of entrepreneurship, so maybe not even necessarily coffee industry, but I would say definitely have audacious faith, dream big, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm a firm believer in working smarter, not harder. So make sure that you're doing your homework, knowing your market. If I had it to do all over again, whether it was coffee or something else, I would absolutely start mobile e-commerce, knowing my market, watching my numbers. And if, that went through the roof, then maybe that would justify brick and mortar. Brick and mortar is a completely different beast. And I think some people may not understand that versus mobile. So that's my big advice. Yeah, dream big, do it scared, do it ugly, but work smart, not harder. So it doesn't, bite you midstream and it come crashing down. And that has probably a lot to do with my personality, being a perfectionist. I'm a planner as well. So knowing all the information up front, I think will help us, succeed. And yeah.
So what makes you different then? If we're talking about
Right.
you're giving an advice not for people as just opening a coffee shop, but just as someone who wants to open their own business regarding what it is, what makes you different or stand out from the other coffee places? Because at the end, we're, as entrepreneurs, we want people to come to us. Yeah, there are a million of other coffee places, but what really makes you and for people to come to your place instead of going to another one?
Right. I get asked that a lot. Do I feel worried about XYZ coffee down the road? I don't. It doesn't come from a place of arrogance when I say I don't feel like there are competition, because we truly are unique. We're coffee, cocktails, charcuterie, events. But I think what makes us stand out, honestly, is our customer service. We make people feel seen and heard. We execute with excellence. We're creating elevated experiences, and I'm all about that. You know how it is when you go into like a busy restaurant, and let's say it's just fine dining, and hopefully fine dining restaurants aren't doing this. They're not ignoring you, but you know how you go in and there's a line, the hostess is doing their best to serve and seat, and no one makes eye contact with you, right? No one acknowledges you, like, hey, I'll be right with you. No one says anything to you. It just kind of lingers, like ick a little bit. However, when you have that hostess or you're greeted and you know they're slammed and they say, hey, we'll be right with you, or thanks for waiting on me, and they make eye contact, that's just like chef's kiss, right? It makes you feel seen and heard, and you extend grace to that staff, that hostess. And I feel like that's what we do. I've been to many places where I've walked in and no one says anything, and you're new, right? No one says welcome in. No one says glad to see you, or explain the menu or whatnot. And I just think that is a big deal. You're seen and heard, and I think that goes beyond your norm. Yeah.
And I agree 100% on that with you, because I feel customer service is one of the biggest thing for you having a business, especially I feel right now with this new generation, where it's really hard for them to make, like, I just feel the we're getting less contact with each other. So they don't really need, like, we need that because we are the old generation. Like, hey, talk to me, look at my eyes and let me know like what is going on. If I have to wait, like, tell me something. But I just feel this new generation is just like, don't call me, like, don't look at me, like, if you like, just text me.
Yeah.
Like, if you need me, just like,
yeah, we want to talk. We want to have the conversations. I think that translates not just on the customer aspect, but what we try to do with our staff as well. Like, we don't want to shy away from conversations. And I think being relationally healthy means having difficult conversations. So if we can teach our staff that, I think that sets them up for their next job. Or maybe it's a conversation they have to have with their parents or a loved one, whatever. I also think what makes us different is, I just blanked out again. This is horrible. I'm so sorry.
no, girl, don't worry.
I got lost with our staff, but that's so important. And, when you're walking in, this is what I want to say. This is the real ADHD brain that I have, and a mom and all the things. This is real.
I feel you.
But, some establishments, I think because their branding is really good or their pockets are deep, like, people will just come, no big deal. No, for me, when you walk in our doors, thank you. You're supporting a local small business. You're supporting the workers here. They're able to earn income while they work for us. So no, we're forever grateful. So I think that's why, you matter when you walk in our door. You are not a number. We appreciate that you've chosen to support local over the big chain. And honestly, people know what they know, right? That's all they know, because these companies have deep pockets and their branding is really good, but maybe the product is, not great, which I would say. So I get it. They know what they know, but when they experience good quality coffee or anything curated, they have an appreciation. And once they know, like, they definitely come back and they ditch the chain, which that's our goal, is to help people stop drinking bad things.
Yes.
And also understand what it means to support local.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, what is next for Amber and Wake Coffee?
Okay, so here's a really big secret I haven't told anybody.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Haven't told our socials. I think, yeah, a few of our team members know, obviously, because we had to go out west a week and a half ago. We have been thinking about it, specifically me. We've been asked a lot to come out to do events. And while we have, I don't love the setup, right? I love, again, to work smarter, not harder. So having conversations with my business partner, which is also my husband, thinking about different mobile carts and different setups. So I was like, oh, I'll just buy the collapsible one, collapse it down, put it in the back of my truck setup. And he was like, you know what, that sounds like a lot of work. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that is, especially when you've got, a heavy duty espresso machine or grinder. So one thing led to another, and we found ourselves flying into Vegas last week to purchase a coffee trailer. So we're so excited.
Yeah.
This is going to open up, different avenues. We can be mobile. We can come to you. And the fun part, I would say for me, is like the design aspect. So I'm trying to wrap that up so we can literally wrap the trailer. It's super cutesy. It's not your typical flat square food truck style or coffee truck type of setup. So yeah, we're really excited. So that's the big secret. Yeah.
Well, comment below and let Amber know some ideas for her new camp, how do you call that, camper or trailer?
Yeah,
or
it's coffee trailer.
like a coffee trailer?
Because a coffee truck, you're in it and you're driving it. It's not like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you have ideas, or if you want to see something different, maybe let her know. And that will help her too, right?
Yeah, open to suggestions.
And just to finish, I want to ask you what light up means to you, or what lighting up something or your business means to you.
Light up Charlotte or light up?
It can be anything.
Yeah, I think we'll just say light up Charlotte. I think light up Charlotte means community. It means community over competition. I am a firm believer that in these industries, different variations, yours, mine, there's room for everyone at the table. I also think it's highlighting hidden gems like ours. We're 3 years in for brick and mortar, and a lot of people still don't know about us.
Yeah.
We're working on that, but I think it's an awesome way to highlight incredible local gems all throughout. And maybe it's not Charlotte, maybe it's other places, which I think is awesome as well. But I just have a heart for local and small, curated, elevated. That's who we are. And I love seeing other businesses highlighted as well.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being one of our guests today. I'm excited for what is next for you, and I can't wait to see the coffee trailer all over Charlotte. And if you have any questions, I'm really bad ending this podcast, so comment, subscribe, let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for tuning in to Light Up Charlotte, where we keep the spotlight on real stories. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram to keep the inspiration going. Until next time, stay lit, Charlotte.